hello, beautiful people. How are you doing? Please say hi in the comment section and let me know where you are joining me from. I am Flora Basie, digital accessibility expert and founder at Linoratech. Linoratech is actually an incredible company that is helping leaders, talents, professionals, teams, and organizations make digital product inclusive and accessible to everyone, including those with visible and invisible disability. We provide services such as training, coaching in accessibility, strategy in accessibility, and audit in accessibility. That's about it. So if you're joining me now, just say hi in the comment section. You don't need to be shy. This is really a welcoming and diverse, accept all opinions, to be honest with you. It's a safe zone to communicate. And I love when I read comment. I should be able to see some of the comment. I just want to acknowledge also that today is Thanksgiving. Ah, my goodness, so much food coming, and also appreciation for a lot of things that has happened in our life. Hopefully, you feel that the same way. And if you are, please say Thanksgiving in the comment section. But let me start. So, really, really happy to be here. Really, really grateful, first of all, to even host this session every week on Friday, bringing incredible people to share diverse opinion, diverse perspective. And I think that this is really how we move forward in the world. Diverse opinion, diverse perspective create diverse opportunity for everyone to feel seen, included, and acknowledged. Now, today I want to talk to you about accessibility audit versus accessibility training. And where should you invest your money? It's quite interesting because we used to talk about accessibility as something that needed to be added at some point in the building life cycle. But everyone knows at this point in time that accessibility is not just nice to have. Yes, if you think that accessibility is nice to have, think again. There's a lot of laws and requirement around accessibility that makes it a solid business case. There's also proof that making digital product inclusive and accessible to all is actually attracting a great market. But now let's talk very quickly about accessibility audit, what it is, right? Accessibility audit, especially when it comes to digital product, is all about assessing your digital product to see if your digital products are inclusive and welcoming to everyone. It's really about looking if there are gaps in your digital product, like for example, website, digital document like PDF, PowerPoint. A lot of people use PDF, for invoices in organization and so on, and also digital application, right? There is a lot of company that use and leverage application to serve their client, their audience, right? So we want to make sure that everything is inclusive and welcoming and attracting the ideal client you love and appreciate, right? I can see somebody said something on the comment. Let me check that out very quickly. Oh, hi. I'm so happy you're here, Tree. I hope that is, sorry, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. And please, if you're joining me now, feel free to say again hi in the comment section. Really, really happy to see you, Tree. And yes, so as I was saying, accessibility is really auditing with accessibility is really about making sure that products are just inclusive. There are no gaps, there are no limitation, right? Limitations are prohibiting or excluding clients to get information, to get products, or even to request sometimes your services. A lot of people are using, for example, digital product in a different way, right? We have people who are blind, people who are deaf, people with mobility impairment. They may not use, they may not, yeah, they are not able sometimes to use their hand for navigation, so they can probably use their voice to navigate your product. So we just want to make sure that everyone feels included, and I think that inclusion is good. Exclusion is not good. I know a thing or two about exclusion. So when it comes to accessibility, really, it's a win-win for everyone, for the organization, as well as for the clients and even the employees. Yes, the employees, the talents you have within the organization. So it's quite important to just make sure that everything works well for everyone. I can see Thomas. Thomas, hi Thomas. I'm so happy to see you here. Good morning. So excited to see you and to have you. Again, if you have any question, feel free. You know me. Just drop your question. You want to say something, say hi. Please feel free to do that in the comment section. I love seeing people and engaging. I love being engaged. Yes, I love engagement. It's the best thing ever. Anyway, that's just me or maybe more people, but that's how I feel. So now, one thing that we usually follow when it comes to audit, right? There are different ways of auditing, of course. The first way that people usually go for is auditing with automated tools. So you have few tools that you can click, and then it will create a report telling you what is wrong, what is not wrong, and how you can address some of the problem. There is a little bit of limitation with those tools, but some of them are doing an excellent job in terms of providing good content for you to know exactly where your product can stand. Now, when I say there is a limitation, oftentimes the tools are covering just 20 to 50%. We can push it to 60, maybe 60%, but the rest of the coverage should be done manually by a person, because some of the tools are not able to tell the value of some of the content. Let me give you an example. And if you heard about alternative text, right? Have you heard about alternative text? If you have, put alternative text in the comment section. An alternative text is usually used, for example, on images, right? Sometimes we have on the website incredible images with good deals of phone numbers. But you know what? People who are blind and using a screen reader will not be able to get that information if it's not provided with an alternative text. The alternative text is just the text that the developer, for example, will put behind the image, so that information will be properly given to a person using a screen reader. Sometimes with the tools, like the automated tools, it will track and see if there is a text assigned, and sometimes the text will just say image. So for the automated tool, it will say, oh, that's fine. They provided an alternative text, but actually image means nothing, right? So you need a human to go and test manually to see if the information is sound and really reflect the purpose of the image or different situations. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, ask me the question again. I will make sure you understand. But yes, so the first way is really to do a test with automated tools, right? The second way is usually to do a manual testing. Manual testing is amazing because it's really giving you the ins and out of your product. The only downfall with the manual testing is usually that it takes a little bit of time. It takes time to review, it takes time to report, it takes time to go back and forth and do the fixes. So the recommendation is usually to have a combination of the automated tools and the manual testing. And that can be done by a professional, of course. And it makes life so easy. The odds of winning is a little bit higher on that end. I hope that makes sense. And it's quite easy. So now that you understand that, to the audit, right? Accessibility audit is really about just checking what has been created and see if there are any failures, any gaps, any limitation. There is, I will say, there is just a tiny bit problem with this approach. When it comes, for example, to website, we want to make sure that the website is compliant to the WCAG. If you heard about this WCAG before, just put WCAG in the comment section for me. WCAG, some people call it WCAG as well. The WCAG is the web content, right? See, now web content accessibility guideline, and it is provided a set of guidelines that we can check to see if websites are inclusive for all. But sometimes there are few things that are left behind, and that can be checked again with the manual testing, and if you have a good analyst or expert with you. The little downfall that is happening, right, according to Webin, I would say Webin already claimed in a review they have done in 2021 that 97.4% of website, right, website homepage are failing for the WCAG, which means that we have a lot of websites that are not compliant out there. And so a lot of organizations are missing on an incredible market, which is quite sad. Also, the Bureau of Internet Accessibility also said that after audit, an audit has been done, after an assessment has been done, after a report has been given to showcase the different failures, only 19% of these reported failures get fixed. 19%. So can you imagine that if there is a lot of issues that coming and reported, only 19% of them are fixed? That's not a lot. That's just a little. 19% is really a small number, but that's the reality. This is happening because the workload is probably bigger than anticipated, especially if you have a lot of pages, you have a lot of content, you have a lot of things. It's a lot for all the developers to fix at a very small window of time. So time is a problem. Also, resources are a problem. So you have to keep that in mind, especially when we talk about auditing. I hope this makes sense. So as I was saying, there was a good part to having the audit done because you understand what is happening on your digital product, but there are also a little bit of downfall because this is usually done toward the end of the building cycle, right? Because now we have a product that we can test, and that's not always ideal. I usually tell my clients that, you are working on the symptoms. You need to think about, right, the cause. Why are we having so much failures? Do you know? If you do know why we're having so much failure, can you just put your idea or your thought in the comment section? And if you're watching this as a replay, please again feel free to drop anything. It's always good to read a comment. Okay, so usually the cause is the lack of knowledge, right? The cause is the culture not fully being inclusive and accessible. There was a lot of things that happened at the beginning, and I think that working just investing a lot toward the symptom, which is the audit, might not be ideal. So let's talk now about accessibility training. Accessibility training is really important. I see accessibility training as brushing your teeth, right? Good habits create healthy gum, healthy teeth, and less doctor visit. Maybe you go to visit the doctor, the dentist, maybe one time a year or two times a year, right? Just for checkup, just because you have a good habit. The same apply when you have a proper system in place for training. Good training habit, good training, I will say, create an incredible, inclusive, and accessible habit. Indeed, when imagine that your developers, your talents, your leaders, your employees are all embracing a culture that is inclusive and accessible, this will lead to fewer errors. Indeed, the WebAIM again, right? Remember the WebAIM, we said that 97.4% of homepage on website are not inclusive. WebAIM actually also claimed that when there is a good training system for accessibility in place, 49% of website have few errors. 49%. It is reducing that number. So, like, I'm like, 49%, 19%. Can you imagine? That's a big number. I see Thomas said something. Let's read that very quickly. Thomas said, accessibility needs to be included in the entire SDL cycle. Yes, development cycle, it has to be. It has to be. The failure to incorporate it into the process early is due to the lack of knowledge. Yes, I agree. Limited skill set of the team and more. When accessibility is embraced from the beginning, the cost is reduced. Woo! Music to my ears, Thomas. You got it right. You got it right. And I'm going to talk about costs very soon. So, yes, definitely. When the training is done properly with consistency, because a training is a journey, it's not like brush your teeth one time and we should be good for the rest of our life, right? We always brush our teeth every day. Why? Because we're eating every day. Same apply within the organization. Are you building something every time? Yes? No? The answer is usually yes. Organizations are always building something, they're always creating something, they're always putting their services out there, so there is always a change happening. Sometimes the change takes place in just a feature, sometimes it's the whole page that get changed or the website that get changed. So there is always that little things happening. So as I said, it's like brushing your teeth. You're creating something, you're changing something, make sure that the training is consistent throughout the life cycle also of the development of a digital product, and it starts from even at the beginning with the leaders. I know. Some people will say, well, leaders are super busy. How do they have to know everything about accessibility? Well, there are certain content that leaders can get to just have the proper awareness to make sound decisions. And leaders, you are a reflection of the different people that work for you. You need to understand accessibility, inclusion, and be connected with it. If you don't have any connection, well, you can reach me. I will help you have it and create a better connection so that it's easy to understand, it's easy to follow. I think that it's quite important because I have seen in many places throughout my experience that we have sometimes incredible talent who are very knowledgeable about accessibility, but they are not able to get the buy-in. And this is happening because some of the leaders, director, C executive leaders, VP directors do not fully understand or comprehend sometimes the accessibility needs, but they understand definitely the jargon of the business. But having the combination of both two will make you really create something that is more sound for the business in the long term. I hope this makes sense. Because I think that once you have both, you make a sound decision, and even when you're stuck with your people, you are able to articulate why we are making today's decision as is. Instead of being like, no, not serving the business, the money is not coming. There is strategy around. We can talk about it next time. But I hope it makes sense. So love, love, love. When it comes to inclusion, again, as I said, it's a win-win for everyone. Actually, the World Health Organization stated that 2.3 billion people globally have a disability of some sort. That's 15% of the global population. That's a big number. And this number does not even include people who are aging, right? As we aging, we might lose the ability to see, to hear, to touch, and so much more. It's just crazy. That number is supposed to be bigger than that. And it's not even including people with temporary disability, right? Have you ever been sick in your life? If yes, put yes, I have been sick in my life in the comment. I have, not one time, not two times, not three times. I have many times. If I have to be honest, yes. We're all human beings. Sometimes you get a cold, right? You get an ear infection, you cannot hear things for a little while, right? Or sometimes you get a broken wrist or something like that, or something else. Even when I was pregnant, I had a temporary disability. My eyes, I couldn't see and read things properly. Trust me, life happened. When you make digital product inclusive and accessible to everyone, starting with training and changing the narrative, the culture around inclusion and accessibility, and dripping that down to the processes, the policies, and also the auditing, everyone wins. Accessibility is not just one person responsibility, it's everyone responsibility. When it comes to making sure that everyone feels included, acknowledged, heard, you know, it's not just one person job. I know sometimes people like to say, well, we have an accessibility analyst. That person is taking take care of this part, but what about you? Do you know what needs to be done and to what extent? Because while the person who has the expertise know what to do, sometime again, as I said, to get the buy-in process is a little bit harder. But if leaders start, getting the knowledge around accessibility, they do not have to learn everything. There is an easy way to filter all of that information for them. They can make a sound decision. I hope that makes sense again. All right, so let's talk very quickly about where to invest, right? As I said, who do you think is the winner? Serving and solving the problem at the symptom level, or serving and solving the problem at the cause level? I think that this one will give you more for your bucket. Investing in training, especially accessibility coaching training. Training comes with different variances. Again, that could be a topic for a different session, because some organization or some leaders will tell me, definitely we have provided training material to our talent. We are always creating material somewhere for our talent. We are letting them use, for example, free resources online so that they can pull all of that together. There is a level of variance with training. When you give your talent just documents to read, why they have so much they have to do, right? There's a tight deadline. There's always somebody pulling them from one place to another place. There are meetings everywhere. When do you think they're getting the chance to really acknowledge that information? It's hard. It's hard, yes. Sometimes when they push and commit, they will understand a few things. They will make incremental, right, gain, success. But to have an impactful success, you need to have them in good session training where they get the answer, where they can connect with people, they can connect with the mission, they can get more, they can learn to be more mission driven, more engaging. They know exactly why their role is important, right? So whenever you have this, you are really changing the narrative around accessibility, and this will pay big dividends in the long term. Again, as I said, a habit takes time. It's a journey. So do not try to say, listen, we brought somebody, a speaker, to say something. The team was really happy. Let's see that next year again. No, that's not a good approach. When, for example, if you're inviting a speaker to come and talk with your team and you can tell that this was an incredible session, book the speaker very quickly for a strategy. This speaker might be able to put a training that filter all the noise out and give you something very succinct or a game plan for accessibility success. And that will take you to the finish line faster. When you find somebody that is a right fit to support your organization or yourself as a leader, or you as a talent, right, a developer, a designer, make sure to go back to that person. Okay, this person is always going to give you incredible value. If they have started, they will definitely finish. I hope that helped. Anyway, just wanted to share this very quickly with you. So my recommendation really is to make sure, if you are investing a lot of your budget into auditing, I will probably recommend you to start investing a little bit more into training. The reason is that when a talent, let's say for example a developer or a designer, has no proper knowledge of accessibility, guess what? His or she is going to make a mistake in one project, right? And that can replicate in many places. She is going to be assigned to a different project where she is still replicating the same mistakes. So at the end of the day, when we get toward the finish line for a tester to audit, right, the page, there's just too much to do. And that is why we have the 19% of fix done, because the workload is just too much. It's not realistic, it's just too much. But if you're getting a proper training, ongoing proper training, guess what? This same individual, male or female, is now aware of the wrong way they have been coding for inclusion. And this individual become an advocate on the mission. And when they get pulled from one project to another project, they are fixing the problem. They are not making the same mistake again. And they are even talking to other people who are doing that mistake. And this is how we impact your organization faster for just low cost a training compared to audit, fix, and all of that. It's like so different. Like I usually tell people, it's as if you're taking your money and you want to buy a house in Maryland or Virginia or DC area where the cost is high. You take that same money and you go and buy a house in Texas. You get a mansion. Like it's so big and it has so many things. So this is really how I want you to see your investment. You can decide to invest a lot of money in auditing, which is going to be like the Virginia, DC area where things are expensive in a way that it will cost a lot. And the result will be probably just 19%, right? Or even lower than that. It's not cost effective, but it is important to do audit. Okay, I am not saying that it's not important to do the audit. Audit is super important, but make sure that you invest a little bit more into the training, because then replication of the knowledge could save you on cost, time, and money toward the end. And again, Webin said 49% of uh, uh, there are 49% less error actually on website that have undergo where talents have undergo to good training. I hope this is helping. uh, and I want to wish you a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. So again, my recommendation: put the money a little bit more in the training, but make sure that you do both. Okay, it's important to have training, consistent training, but it's also very important to have audit. I hope this makes sense, and I will see you next time. Again, my name is Flora Bezier. I wish you a wonderful Thanksgiving. Goodbye, au revoir.